List of lunar deities. In mythology, a lunar deity is a god or goddess of the moon, sometimes as a personification. These deities can have a variety of functions and traditions depending upon the culture, but they are often related. Some form of moon worship can be found in most ancient religions. Moon in religion and mythology. The monthly cycle of the moon, in contrast to the annual cycle of the sun's path, has been implicitly linked to women's menstrual cycles by many cultures, as evident in the links between the words for menstruation and for moon in many resultant languages, though this identification was not universal as demonstrated by the fact that not all moon deities are female. Many well-known mythologies feature female lunar deities, such as the Greek goddess Selene, the Roman goddess Luna, and the Chinese goddess Chang. Male lunar gods are also frequent, such as Sin of the Mesopotamians, Mani of the Germanic tribes, Tsukuyomi of the Japanese, Igaluk/Alignac of the Inuit, and the Hindu god Chandra. The ancient Egyptians had several male moon gods, for example, Ibis and Khonsu of Thebes. Thoth was also a lunar deity, but his character is considerably more complex than Ibis and Khonsu. Set represented the moon in the Egyptian calendar of lucky and unlucky days of Papyrus Cairo 86,637. These cultures usually feature female sun goddesses. Exception is Hinduism, featuring both male and female aspects of the solar divine. The original Proto-Indo-European lunar deity appears to have been male. Several goddesses, like Artemis or Hecate, did not originally have lunar aspects, and only acquired them late in antiquity due to syncretism with Selene/Luna, the de facto Greco-Roman lunar deity. In traditions with male gods, there is little evidence of such syncretism, though the Greek Hermes has been equated with the male Egyptian lunar god Thoth. In Greece proper, remnants of male moon gods are also seen with Menelaus. Nyx is the goddess of night. Also of significance is that many religions and societies are oriented chronologically by the moon, as opposed to the sun. One common example is Hinduism, in which the word Chandra means moon and has religious significance during many Hindu festivals, e.g. Karwa Chauth, Sankeshti Chaturthi, and during eclipses. The ancient Germanic tribes were also known to have a lunar calendar. The moon features prominently in art and literature, often with a purported influence in human affairs. This belief remains a feature of astrology, which is classified as pseudoscience. List of moon deities. African, Europe, Asia, Ainu mythology. God Kunachuk Kamui. Anatolian, God Kaska Hittite mythology. God Men Phrygian mythology. Chinese mythology. Jai Lin, god that carries the moon across the night sky. Changzai, mother of 12 moons corresponding to the 12 months of the year. Chang, immortal that lives on the moon. Tai Yin Xingjun, Tai Yin Xingjun, Tai Yin Xingjun of investiture of the gods in Taoism and Chinese folk religion. Tur Yi, rabbit god that lives on the moon. Wu Gang, immortal that lives on the moon. Elamite, god Napier. Hindu mythology. God Chandra or Soma, the moon god. Hero-Urartian, god Kusaharian mythology. Goddess Selardi, Urartian mythology. Indonesian mythology. Goddess Rati. Goddess Sil Nazarate. Japanese mythology. God Tsukuyomi. Korean mythology. Goddess Myeonwol. Mari mythology. God Tuls. Philippine mythologies. Kabigat Bontoc mythology, the goddess of the moon who cut off the head of Chow Chow's son. Her action is the origin of headhunting. Bulan Ifugao mythology, the moon deity of the night in charge of nighttime. Moon deity Ibaloi mythology, the deity who teased Kabunion for not yet having a spouse. Philan Butkalat mythology, deity of the moon, worshipped with the sun and stars congenial with Elag. During quarrels, Elag sometimes covers Deland's face, causing the different phases of the moon, giver of light and growth. Ilan Ilocano mythology, the moon god of peace who comforted the grieving Abra. Ilan Pangasinen's mythology, the merry and mischievous moon god, whose dim palace was the source of the perpetual light which became the stars, guides the ways of thieves. Wife of Manjache Kapampangan mythology, wife of Manjache, who gave birth to their daughter whose beauty sparked the Great War, lives in the moon. Mayari Kapampangan mythology, the moon goddess who battled her brother, Palakwi. Apang Malyari Kapampangan mythology, moon god who lives in Mount Pinatubo and ruler of the 8 rivers. Mayari Tagalog mythology, goddess of the moon, sometimes identified as having one eye, ruler of the world during nighttime and daughter of Bathala. Dalagang Nasabu in Tagalog mythology, the maiden of the moon. Dalagang by Nubucot Tagalog mythology, the cloistered maiden in the moon. Unnamed moon god Tagalog mythology, the night watchman who tattled on Rajo's theft, leading to an eclipse. Ilanhari Tagalog mythology, one of the deities sent by Bathala to aid the people of Penac, can command rain to fall, married to Bituin. Ilan Bicolano mythology, son of Dagat and Paros, joined Daga's rebellion and died. His body became the moon. In another myth, he was alive and from his cut arm, the earth was established and from his tears, the rivers and seas were established. Halia Bicolano mythology, the goddess of the moon. Libulan Bisaya mythology, the copper-bodied son of Lidigat and Lihangin, killed by Captain's rage during the Great Revolt, his body became the moon. Ilan Bisaya mythology, the moon deity who gives light to sinners and guides them in the night. Lonsinakapisnin mythology, the goddess of the sun, moon, stars, and seas, and the most beloved because people seek forgiveness from her. Diwatana Magabea Bukidnon mythology, simply referred as Magabea, the good supreme deity and supreme planner who looks like a man, created the earth and the first 8 elements, namely bronze, gold, coins, rock, clouds, rain, iron, and water using the elements. He also created the sea, sky, moon, and stars, also known as the pure God who wills all things, one of 3 deities living in the realm called Banting. Ilan Lam Mago Tiboli mythology, one of the 2 supreme deities married to Kada Las Sambad, lives in the 7th layer of the universe. Moon deity Maranao mythology, divine being depicted in an anthropomorphic form as a beautiful young woman. Angels serve as her charioteers. Semitic mythology. God Aglibal Palmyrene mythology. God Baal Hammon Punic religion. God Sin Mesopotamian mythology. God Talab Arabian mythology. God Wad Minian mythology. God Yaric Canaanite mythology. Turkic mythology. God I Atta. Austronesian. God Andriam Batamanana Malagasy mythology. Goddess Lona Hawaiian mythology. God Avatia Polynesian mythology. God Fatty Polynesian mythology. Goddess Hina Polynesian mythology. Goddess Mahina Polynesian mythology. God Marama Polynesian mythology. Australia. God Balu Australian Aboriginal mythology. God Kiddali Manjanja mythology. God Ngalandi Yolngu mythology. Americas. Aztec mythology. Goddess Coyolxauhqui. Goddess Metzli. God Texas C. Metzli. Cahuilla mythology. Goddess Menali. Hopi mythology. God Moya. Incan mythology. Goddess Mama Killa. Goddess Ka'atakilla. God Kinurea. Inuit mythology. God Alignac. God Igaluk. God Tarkiup Inuak. Lakota mythology. Goddess Hanwi. Maya mythology. Goddess Awilix Expalank was her mortal male incarnation. Maya moon goddess. Muisca mythology. Goddess Huataka. Goddess Chaya. Pawnee mythology. God Pa. Tupi Guarani mythology. God Abangui. Goddess Arisi. God/goddess JC gender depends on tribe. Voodoo. God Kalfu.